right, what back to Relative Conscious? My name is Thomas Brown.
Irvin Bryant.
Shout out DJ for making our beat.
At DW made that on social media.
Follow on social media.
That's at Kinda Woke on Instagram and Twitter. Relatively Conscious everywhere else. Like, subscribe, follow, comment, retweet. Is Scooby-Doo over? Did they finally ruin the good name of Scoobert Doo? That's his full name. That's I'm an expert. I've been watching Scooby-Doo since day one.
Yeah, so I kind of want to talk about Velma and kind of the state of comedy as a whole. Velma's new series out on HBO Max is by Mindy Kaling, who's famously from The Office. She was also had a show called The Mindy Project, and she has a show on Netflix. It's for the Gen Zers. Calls I don't know what it's called. It's for the Gen Zers, so it's not for me. But anyway, that one's considered to be pretty good. It's for but anyway, Velma. The take is by the general public that Velma is bad, and there's three different takes why Velma is bad. There's one take that Velma is bad because it's too woke, right? Mindy Kaling turned Velma into I guess a Black/Indian person now. I can't really tell. I think she's supposed to be a person of color. She's brown. Yeah. Velma is I guess LGBTQ. I don't know if she's fully gay or bisexual, whatever it is, but yeah. Shaggy is Black. Yeah, his name is not Shaggy anymore. Yeah, but he's Black.
His name is Norville,
which
is Shaggy's real name. Shaggy's a nickname.
Yeah.
So technically, he's still the same guy.
Yeah. There's no dog, or as of right now, to episode 4, there's no dog. There's no Scooby. Norville has a friend or a girlfriend or a girl he likes. She's Black, and someone's like, "Is she supposed to be Scooby?"
No, we're not doing that.
Yeah,
no.
There's also a lot of jokes at the expense of white people, which I'm always here for that. But a lot of it's like, I don't know, not very funny. So like, there's a joke that like Freddie, Velma said several times that Freddie's just a rich white guy with a small unit, and like that's the joke. And they're all in high school, so like it's like a whole nother thing. And like, I don't get how that's like a funny joke to me. It's not funny to me. It's like, I guess,
I guess.
If you had said Freddie was storming the Capitol on January 6th, I guess. But also Freddie is
a little better. It's a little better.
Yeah, but he's also like, that's not who Freddie is in the actual like.
No.
Yeah, maybe like Freddie, even Freddie and the little kids Scooby-Doo, he was just a tryhard.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, that's the thing. Yeah, Freddie's kind of a dork. Like, the job done, but he's kind of like Robin on Teen Titans Go. He's kind of like obsessive.
Yeah,
it doesn't really make sense for him to be so into it.
The second reason why people hate Velma, so that I guess that'd be like the right take, like the take on the right of people who's on the right side of stuff. The people on the left or in the middle are like, Velma's just poorly written. That's their issue. And then some people are like, Velma is bad because it's not Scooby-Doo enough. It's like, why am I watching this if it's not Scooby-Doo? Like, they're solving mysteries, but it's like, it's not Scooby. It's not like they're not going on the road. They're not like pulling up at a music park that's haunted. It's not Scooby-Doo enough for them. And the last one is Velma is bad because it's trying too hard to be funny for a new audience, right? Like a new, younger audience. And it's just not working. How do you feel about those takes from the jump? Do they sound plausible to you?
Yeah, I've seen a little bit of the YouTube commentary, and by off bat, I did see like a thumbnail for it.
Yeah.
And I was like, this doesn't look good. I don't like this. I saw Norville with the fade, and I was like, what? Shaggy went to the barber. That don't even make sense. Then I saw Brown Velma, and I'm like, interesting choice. And then once I heard it was no dog, I was like, oh, this is doomed. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It ain't the same program. There's no reason to. Yeah, like you said, like, why am I watching this? Scooby-Doo has a lot of iterations, and they vary in quality. But put Scooby-Doo in it. What's wrong with y'all?
Yeah,
It's basic stuff. And then so you start talking about bad writing and all these other bad decisions, and I'm like, I could buy it. Yeah, that makes sense.
One take is that Velma is bad because it's like I said, it's trying too hard to be woke for a new audience, and that if we were allowed to make shows like The Office again, then it would be funny. That one, I don't know how much I agree with that take because I
People
don't know.
say you can't make shows like The Office, and I call cap every single time, dude.
Yeah, I think we've made shows like The Office. It's called Atlanta. It's
It's called
called
Abbott Elementary.
yeah,
Abbott Elementary is like literally like they birth
yeah,
directly from The Office, and boom, here's Abbott Elementary. Different people working on it. Some of the same behind the scenes, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? But Quinta Brunson obviously has no relation to that show. But it's obvious the correlation, and she says it all the time. She's like, yeah, dude, it wouldn't happen without The Office. They broke the mold. We doing something like what they did.
yeah. First, let's talk about Minnie Kaling because I want to get into the whole new woke ideal. I don't know how many people actually like Mindy Katie's comedy for watching Velma. Like I know the Venn diagram between people who like the Mindy Project and who don't like Velma. Like I don't know what that Venn diagram is, but I don't think it's very big, right? I think a lot of people like Mindy Kaling in the structure of The Office, but don't like her outside of that structure. And it came to Velma and was like, it's a woman from The Office, and they were disappointed. And I was like, well, you like Benjamin Novak's probably. You probably like the people who made The Office in that structure. But Mindy Kaling was funny in that structure for you. But outside that structure, you probably don't find it very funny. And so Velma's never going to be funny to you because it wasn't the same people who wrote it, basically.
But that's not my fault.
Yeah.
Who I'm mad at, I mean, you could blame writers like Mindy Kaling, you know, whatever. But the real culprit is Warner Brothers. Who told y'all that was a good idea? Take like one of the most enduring, beloved IPs, and it was a stroke of luck. I mean, the luckiest thing ever.
Yeah.
Hanna-Barbera and Warner Brothers just cranking out Saturday morning garbage at the time, a bunch of different meddling kids teams with their talking inanimate object companion. And Scooby-Doo is just the one that hit. It's just the formula perfectly happened, and it's just been going ever since for like 60 years. Why would you hand that to Mindy Kaling, who is not that appealing? It's straight up. Like as a talent, her audience is niche. Scooby-Doo ain't niche. It's never been niche. It's for everybody. Everybody likes Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
And then when everybody tunes in to watch it, they feel alienated because it's not for them.
Yeah. It's her comedy is for a particular type of people, particular type of audience, right? I don't really love it. You know, it's not really for me, but also not like a black woman. So like, I think if I was a black woman, I find it more interesting, you know? But also I think like Wednesday is a good version of this because Addams Family, but Addams Family is always niche. And so making Wednesday was for like a niche audience, people who like goth comedy, basically. And so it worked for that niche audience. But Scooby-Doo is not the Addams Family. It has a much more widespread appeal. And so that's why I'm not understanding. I think too many people came to watch it. It's that it wasn't meant for, basically. You know, it's like, you know, like that show To All the Boys I Love, or The Kissing Booth, those movies, right? Or even Vampire Diaries. You know from the jump, it's not made for me. I'm not watching.
I'm about to say
it's not made for me, right? So I don't go on Netflix and be like, why is this trash? This is garbage. It was never for me in the first place, you know. And so I think it's one thing people are really not understanding. Let's go to the whole question of wokeness killing comedy, right? Because it shows like Velma and then She-Hulk to less degree, who people are saying are trying too hard to be woke and funny, and that's making it bad. And I just disagree with that take, right? I think that your problem is the writing is bad. Your problem is not that it's woke. And if your problem is that it's woke, then if you don't like the Velma is gay, and that's your issue, then you're never gonna like the show in the first place, right?
There was nothing they could do.
Yeah, there's nothing they could do, right? But if your problem is that Velma is gay and it's not funny, or like it's not a character trait that like is building anything towards anything, basically, then I can understand that. Your problem is poor writing, right? So I think if your problem is wokeness, Velma's never was going to be for you. But your problem is poor writing, then it's not wokeness, and you shouldn't blame it on wokeness in the first place. Does that make sense?
Now let me say this: because of how Scooby-Doo works, everybody in Mystery Inc. in the gang could be gay, and it wouldn't change anything.
Right.
Right? Like if like just ostensibly like you could just do all the mysteries and everybody be gay and it just, you're just doing mysteries, man. It isn't really a factor.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a shame that when it seems some creatives, and I think it's few, and that it's a few, but people draw a lot of attention to them.
Yes.
When a few creators, want to do something progressive, new, cutting edge, with the times, and do some new inclusion and twist up an old IP, they don't do it quite right. And not every show is good. Some shows just aren't good. And then everybody blames it on the quote unquote wokeness. Because it's real easy. The first thing that comes to my mind is like She-Ra. It's like He-Man and the Masters of the Universe.
Yes.
He-Man had a sister. She-Ra had a show back in the day.
Yes.
They brought She-Ra back, flipped it and tumbled it. It's like super queer coded or whatever. But the show's a hit. The kids love it. All the old fans love it. It's great. But it wasn't some uproarious thing because the show didn't suck. So like, even if you don't like if you hated, gay people or whatever, and you wanted to write a blog post about it, you couldn't say the show was bad.
Yes.
Because it wasn't, right? Like,
Yeah.
So you're limited in the way you can hate on it. But now it's a sensation because it's people who aren't bigoted and people who are bigoted crossing paths.
Yeah.
On the point where the show, isn't hit.
Yeah. Like She-Hulk, I think suffers from the fact that it's all of Marvel's TV shows to me have bad writing, right? They just suffer from bad writing.
This one ain't special.
Yeah. And so like that's just the issue. Like I think some people are like, it's because they're trying to make a female superhero. It's like, no, because the show has bad writing. It's supposed to be like a lawyer drama for superheroes, which is
comedy.
A lawyer comedy for superheroes, which could be funny, but like they just didn't do it right. And so
Marvel isn't good at being funny, that's for sure.
Yeah. And so that's the issue. That's not the issue, is not that it's a female Hulk, right? There's also too many cameos in it. It feels like a cameo, like a show, just to be like, hey, look at this person.
That's also a Marvel problem. They love doing that.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, at some point, this is not longer She-Hulk. It's just a
and like, can we just watch She-Hulk? Why we gotta do all these other people?
Yeah. But I saw another take that was wrapped into the Velma take, right? Is that several famous comedians have been canceled because their comedy's not woke enough. You cancel yet, quotations. And it may be happening to Chris Rock soon. So a lot of people have watched Chris Rock's stand-up special. Like he's doing it in person on the road first, and then it's gonna be
his tour that he's the one we're doing with Kevin Hart.
I think he's doing Kevin Hart. I don't know. It's on tour. Yeah, he's on tour right now doing a stand-up special, and that's going to be the special he does for Netflix, basically. And people are like, "It's already coming. He's probably going to get canceled for some of the jokes." And they're like, "Well, this is the problem. This and Velma is the issue, right? If comedy's not woke enough, then people have a problem with it." I don't agree with that. I think comedians need a lane to make jokes about things that are hard to be funny. I think there's always going to be people who are not going to find it funny. And now that we have Twitter, those people are very loud. But I think the masses are going to find it hilarious. Like Dave Chappelle's stand-up special, however lampoon it was a huge hit for Netflix, money-wise, right? Blazing Saddles, however, lampoon it was by some people, was a huge hit, right? And so I think no matter what Chris Rock does, as long as he makes a joke about getting slapped by Will Smith, because that's what I want to hear, it's going to be a huge hit, at the end of the day. Like Raw and Delirious has some issues. It's out there,
It's out there.
Yeah. It's out there. It's kind of like, now today you probably couldn't do that, but I just something it holds up as being hilarious, but that not everybody's going back to watch Raw and Delirious.
But I love how people want to decry wokeness as like this. It's not a real thing. First off, like, relax.
Yeah.
So being socially conscious is just exercising empathy, like trying to think about other people's feelings and not be a jerk and defend them. Being woke isn't real. It's not a thing. It's just being empathetic, right? Just trying to not to offend people. I don't want to offend people, even if I'm being funny. Like, of course, like you said, there is a place for like pushing the line, pushing the boundaries or whatever. And some people will cross it and they'll lose something. Maybe they won't lose something. I don't know. But I don't think it's as consequential, at least the joking. I don't think the joking is as consequential as people make it when it's done in good faith.
Yeah.
Right. In the case of comedy, like a Dave Chappelle, in retrospect, or like Chris Rock, like so you go to like some of Chris Rock's older material, Eddie Murphy's older material, and be like, oh, this wouldn't play today because he said he's marginalizing, he's further marginalizing a marginalized group, let's say, gay men or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But at the time, about race, especially, and Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor, a Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle are all making incredibly like scathing like social critiques.
Yeah.
Like it's what you would call conscious. And if they had the word back in the day, those who didn't like them would have called them woke. Like this, it's not a real thing. It's not a static thing. Sure, some people are more sensitive to certain issues, but altogether, like everybody's got, a perspective. You might get hurt, you might not. And there may be room for criticism. But yeah, calling it like, oh, you can't do it. We got to stop that myth. It's just not real. Chris Rock is selling out shows across the country as we speak, and Netflix is going to pay for that special. It's going to happen. And sure, somebody's not going to like it. Either it's going to be Karen who doesn't like it,
yeah,
or it's going to be, I don't know, somebody on the college campus, somebody's mom. I don't know. Somebody's not going to like it. And it's not as big a deal as per se like Ron DeSantis banning Afro-American studies in the state of Florida. That's what really matters.
Yeah. Because I think at the end of the day, I don't think wokeness is killing comedy. I think TV executives are one thing picking bad TV shows. That's one thing. I think that's one issue with Velma. The TV executives just picked a bad TV show, like She-Hulk, I think they TV executives picked a bad TV show. And I think the other issue is that as comedy moves, the landscape of comedy moves, right? Some people have a hard time figuring out, okay, what is funny in this new day and age. And we see, because there's no like it used to be like, I sound old, like 6 channels to have a TV show on. ABC, NBC, CBS, UPN, WB, right? That was like and then Fox, 6 channels. You had a show on 6 channels, right? Now you have dozens of streaming services, just dozens of streaming services, and you can just be a stand-up comedian posting your clips on a TikTok, right, or on into Instagram and Twitter, right? So there's like way more avenues for people to get out there. There's way more avenues for like bad comedy to get out there also, and so I think a lot of people are seeing more bad comedy and not as much good comedy, right? There's also like bad TV shows in the past. Like, you remember Joey, the spinoff from Friends?
I don't remember like seeing it. I just remember people making jokes about it
because it was horrible. Yeah. Do you remember there was a spinoff for Bones called Collector? It was horrible. There was a spinoff from Archie Bunker way back in the day where he owned a bar. It was horrible, right? So there's examples like just being bad TV shows, right? I don't think Velma is new in that vein, right? And I don't think it is a wokeness that makes it bad. I think it's just a bad TV show. And like we said earlier, I think Atlanta, Abbott Elementary, even his new show Bear, which is on Hulu, which is by a guy.
The Bear. I love the Bear.
Yeah, the Bear. Yeah. Even the new Harley Quinn, right? These are all shows that are new, in a new vein. Are I guess you could call them woke at some points, right? And how they deal with things. Bear has we could talk about Bear offline because there's a whole scene in Bear that pissed me off. It is trying to be woke. Yeah. But anyway, actually no, we can talk about that because like there are even times when I'm like, okay, maybe, but I think you're trying to be too on Gen Z side. There's a scene in Bear where like the homeboy is like obsessed with these donuts and he's making them.
Yo.
Okay, Marcus, where are we on cakes?
Get in there.
getting there. What the fuck do you... Marcus, what the fuck are you doing still working on this shit?
Yo, come on, what are you tripping for?
Come
the
on,
cakes are
what
in
the
the
fuck
oven?
am I tripping
If
for?
I'm doing
Are
this
you
till they're done,
here right now?
it doesn't make a difference.
There's 4 cakes and still...
Yeah, I was going to cut them.
They're not even cut yet?
Yeah, it's not that big of a deal.
Yes.
Chef!
I'm doing them in 5, basically. I'm gonna order them in
stop.
5.
Everything. Fire everything right fucking now.
Okay, I'll fire everything now. I just was finishing
Step
talking
out.
to Marcus and
Step out.
Okay, I'm gonna talk to Marcus.
Step out. Get
I'll order...
the fuck off my expo, chef, now! Get the fuck off! Thank you. We're firing 76 beefs, 34 chickens, okay? 12 French fries, 12 mash, fucking now. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I was just explaining real quick. There's a scene where the black girl, she becomes a sous chef, and she sets up online ordering, right? And the tickets start coming through way too fast. There's too much stuff. At the same time, there's a crunch in the kitchen. They got to get everything firing. There's a black guy who's in charge of pastries. And instead of doing his job, he's working on a donut. He's obsessed with the donut because, he's a pastry chef. He wants to make the perfect donut. Great, be about your craft. But also, we got 100 orders coming through. We got to deal with that, right? At the same time. And like Bear yells at the woman to like go do something else because she's like in his space, and she's like, I want to do this way. He's like, no, I want to do it this way. She's like, no, we should do it this way. He's like, I want to do it this way. He says it twice, and then she says something again. He's like, please get the fuck away from me. We're doing it this other way. She's also the reason why they had a bunch of orders come in. So like she kind of like messed everything up.
He messed up the ordering system.
And so he's trying to like be nice at first, but then he cusses her out. And she quits in the middle of everything. She also stabbed somebody on accident because she didn't say behind, whatever.
He earned it getting stabbed. He really wanted to get stabbed.
Yeah.
The other dude, he was trash and he should have gotten stabbed.
Yeah. But anyway, she quits in the middle of everything and like walks away from the job. And then the pastry guy, she goes up to Bear in the middle of the crunch. He's like, I made the perfect donut. And he was like, you gotta be fucking with me right now. Cause like you need to cut the cakes. And he's like, but I'm working on this donut. And he's like, get out of my face and go cut them cakes. And so he gets mad and quits. It's like two black people both quit. And Bear has to apologize to them for them to come back. And I was like,
I wasn't feeling that.
Yeah, I was like, you were in your rights to cuss them out. Now, of course, I was in the army. So with these
Nah.
I don't know. I was like, maybe I'm wrong because I'm in the army. So like I'm used to people cuss people out when things are really heated. I told you to do something twice. If you don't do it after the second time, I'm gonna call you out your name because now you're not listening anymore. And maybe if I use some explicit, you'll understand.
But no, it's not even like that. It's like this. Like they owe him.
Yeah.
Because they didn't operate in their roles. And when it was crunch time, it's time to put your selfish ambitions to the side. And so the writing, I love that show. It's very good. The writing is tight. And thematically, everything was really shaken out until that point where it's like, he's the bear, the main character. I think it's like Bearzotti. Bearzada is their, it's Italian name.
Yeah.
So they get the nickname. He's the only one who's required to grow in that situation.
Yeah.
Like, if they both had to apologize, that would make sense because he was kind of, yelling and screaming over the top, lost control, and then they weren't like focused on their job and being team players. But at the end of the day, he's like, I should have lost my cool. It's all good. We're all family. No. And that's where I can be mad at wokeness too.
Yeah.
Use quotes.
Yeah.
And I would say, honestly, you said it best at first when you said like it's too much on Gen Z side.
Yeah.
They're the younger ones and they're more in their feelings with it. And he's kind of an older school on how you run the kitchen. But yeah, I agree with you on that one. And I think it's patronizing the young Black characters when they don't have to grow and be more professional. Yeah,
like you should, like, I love the fact there's a Black woman who's in the show who's, growing and stuff, but like she should have a moment to actually grow as a person, like to think like maybe, because at one point before she stabs that dude, it's on accident, but I just keep loving saying she stabbed him because she did. She brings his daughter into it, like they're like going at each other, and like the whole time he like goes at her, it's about her, but like she brings his daughter into it. I'm like, that's a whole nother level. I've gone at people before, and like we bickering back and forth, but I never bring their kids into it or their family into it because it's just about us. It's us. I don't like you, so I'm talking about you. But to bring your family into it, that's a whole nother level. And I'm like, well, she did that, and she didn't have to apologize to him for doing that. Like, that's like, what is this about? Like, but again, I'm not gonna lampoon the whole show for being
Right.
too woke. Right. I would still say it's one of the best TV shows I've seen this year, and that it should get some recognition at the Emmys. But people have an issue with like a small part of a show, and then lampoon the whole show for the issue with it. And I don't know, you can have a critical critique and still understand the art's still good. I don't think Velma.
Let me put a crazy spin on that.
Yeah.
But you said people have an issue with one part of the show, they lampoon the whole show. People have an issue with one part of the person and they throw away the whole person. Watch out. Whoa.
Yeah.
Philosophical.
Yeah. So let's finish up real quick. Because the last thing we're talking about is a Rush Hour Office question. Because I think people say The Office can be made today. And they're talking about the episodes, the Diversity Day episode and the sexual harassment episode, right? Diversity Day is hilarious, right?
It's so funny.
But I think those episodes can still be made today. You can still make Diversity Day. It's gonna be just a little bit different, right? So I think those shows can still be made. Those episodes can still be made. It's just the delivery of the joke has to be a little bit different, right? And so as times change, the joke delivery has to be a little bit different, right? So at that time, we're talking about how workplace culture just sucks. How going to work every day at the office sucks, right? How I'm Jim. I guess in the show, everybody's supposed to be Jim, right? Or maybe Stanley or an Oscar. And everybody else is stupid, right? It's so like my boss is stupid, Michael. And I want to do a show about how isn't Michael stupid? Isn't all our bosses just crazy, right? That's what the joke is in the show, right? Isn't Diversity Day just like a ridiculous thing? Corporate wants us to be more diverse, but instead they do it horribly, right? I think that's the joke at that time. I think now the joke's gotta be a little bit more different because bosses aren't allowed to be just bad like that anymore. Most of the time they get in trouble for doing that.
Yeah, I mean, but you can say look at like Abbott Elementary, where like they have Black History Month, and like most of the teachers are Black, but then it's like the relationship between these Black students, they're in the middle of Philadelphia. It's a lot of Black kids. You got Black students, Black teachers, but then they're miscommunicating on how different generations are seeing the racial issue. Like race is conceived of differently, and there's non-Black teachers there. There's white teachers there, et cetera, et cetera. And then they got to navigate it. Like there's still race is hard to deal with, and we're trying to do it from a top-down perspective, and it doesn't work. We got friction. The same basic idea. It's just happening in a different setting and in a different time.
Yeah. Oh, like Scott's Tots. Do you remember the episode Scott's Tots where Michael Scott promised to send the kids to college, right? And he just goes all haywire.
Yeah.
You can like I don't know. I feel like Atlanta episode where they go to that college campus and everything goes awry. They end up at that frat house. That to me is cringy in the same way Scott's Tots is cringy, right? It's just like, isn't this all hilarious, right? In the same way that you can still make the same episodes, right? Now, Rush Hour is a more difficult question because I don't know how the new Rush Hour is going to do, right? I don't know how those jokes are going to land. And even at the time, it was funny because, well, Jackie Chan is here, so Jackie Chan being in his movie makes these jokes okay. Does that make sense? Right?
Kind of, but I think it's just like you said, it's just a subtle tweak. Like in the same way, and some of the jokes are joking like, man, Jackie Chan's foreign, and he doesn't know, the urban culture that Chris Tucker's referring to. Yeah. And they already kind of flipped that when they in the third movie when they brought Chris Tucker out of America and now he's the weird one. Yeah, and they're laughing at him. So for a fourth one, it's just a play on this relationship. Two men from different worlds. It's classic buddy cop. It's not complicated. I don't know. It seems very easy to make this film.
My last thing is that a lot of times I feel like a lot of these critiques are old man yells at the sky, right? There's a and this is funny. I'm about to praise Family Guy because a lot of new Family Guy is just not very good. But there's a scene in a new Family Guy where they're setting up the nativity scene.
All right, time to put up the 2020 Christmas decorations. First, ethnically accurate Jesus goes right here next to Father Mary and Mother Josephine, followed closely by the three genderless wise people on their bird scooters, Tig Notaro for some reason, and of course the little drummer them, because God forbid we call a boy a boy.
Dad, what are you saying?
I don't like what the world is. I'm white. When's it gonna be our turn?
He's like, Dad, why are you mad? He's like, I'm a white man. Everything's confusing to me now, basically. And I feel like a lot of times people critique on shows, a lot of old people, it's just old man yells at the sky, right? Time changed too fast. And you're like, well, man, I don't understand why this is not funny anymore, right? You know, a lot of people be like, well, The Hangover was hilarious. And I was like, is The Hangover hilarious? Or was it the time and place you were in that made The Hangover funny, right? You were in college, you could see you and your friends going to Vegas and like losing your mind basically for a night. And that would be funny, right? But I don't think the jokes that were out there or made The Hangover funny. It's the premise in the first place that makes it. I think like because Dave Chappelle talks about this in talking about how to create a joke, the structure of a joke, right? And he's like, you know, it's really just about delivery and a punchline that makes sense, right? And so he has a bowl of punchlines, and he'll take the punchline out and then come up with the joke, right? And so I think a lot of times, as times move forward, the delivery changes, but a punchline is the same, right? And so I think that's what it is. And the delivery changes to fit the new audience. And a lot of people are old man yell at the sky because I don't understand the delivery because I don't have, you know, I don't have an iPhone. I'm not on TikTok. You know, I'm old now. And I think it's more about their own feeling of being old that makes them have an issue with it.
Look, if you want to make a Scooby-Doo show, I got you. Don't even worry about it. Hire me. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to pay me as much as you pay Mindy Kaling. I don't know how much they paid Mindy Kaling, but you don't have to pay me as much. It's easy. Make it actually creepy, actual macabre themes. Put the dog back in the show. Everybody can be white. I don't care. I don't care about that. Shaggy's got to actually be Shaggy, though.
A stoner.
And actually solve mysteries. Actually, unmask somebody. I mean, it's not rocket science. I don't know.
There's a mystery they're trying to solve. Just doesn't feel the same, you know. It's like a long form mystery, you know.
Oh, I forgot the rock. You got to put a little rock music in there.
Yeah, I think you know because like it's you can do a reimagining of a new show. It's possible, but it's also can be done.
Mystery Inc. was a really good show, by the way. Really, like the most recent, really good Scooby-Doo iteration.
But I also think like it's also really easy to mess it up. Like it's very easy to mess up Looney Tunes. You to do it again. Or like all the times they made the Smurf movies that were just horrible. I hate the Smurf movies, right?
The Smurfs were never good, but that's another story.
I like the Smurfs. Or like when they made a Garfield movie, it wasn't good. You know, Cat in the Hat was good to me. I don't know. I mean, I was
fire. Cat in the Hat's excellent.
Yeah, I would never do like that hoe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like you can like they've redone SpongeBob and it's not good, right? Because it loses some of the essence of SpongeBob, right? In the first 6 seasons or 7 seasons when SpongeBob's very good, you know.
Something like that.
Yeah. I joined the Corps to help straighten out my life.
Patrick, what are you doing here?
I thought the Corps would help me straighten out my life, sir.
The Corps? What the this isn't the
Yeah, but anyway, you can like it's also very easy to mess it up. And I think people's issue is that they messed up a classic. That's all they did. They messed up a classic like Looney Tunes. Last the example, Looney Tunes, a new show that came out a couple of years back when they redid Looney Tunes and Bugs and Daffy are living together.
Yeah, that show actually kind of good. But okay, here's the thing: they messed up the formula so much that longtime fans like myself rejected it on face value, and it was too radical.
Yeah,
even though in retrospect, it's got a lot of funny jokes.
It's hilarious. Yeah, it's a hilarious show. But I think it's you could have messed it up very easily. Like you could have very easily messed up Looney Tunes by doing that. And I think to land that plane is very hard. And all people's issue is that Mindy Kaling hasn't landed the plane correctly. You know, and it may take a season or two to get it right, but you know, you don't always get Looney Tunes. A lot of times you get the reincarnation of SpongeBob, and it's just horrible. And that's just what it is, you know. And your issues out there is too woke. Your issues that it's not good. You know, comedy is not in a state of jeopardy. That's not the issue. Yeah, it's just changing. That's all. You can still have your own movies. You know. Anyway, my name is Thomas Brown.
Irvin Bryant.
Peace.
Do it to him, Pete.